नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. It's chapter 15, third canto, description of the kingdom of God, text 1. मैत्रेय उवाच प्रजापत्यं तु तत्तेजः परतेजोहनं दितिः दधार वर्षाणि शतं शङ्खमानासुरार्दनात्.
Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisances. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Maitreya said, "My dear Vidura, Diti, the wife of the sage Kashyapa, could understand that the sons within her womb would be a cause of disturbance to the demigods. As such, she continuously bore the powerful semen of Kashyapa Muni, which was meant to give trouble to others, for 100 years."
लोके तेन हता लोके लोकपाला हतोजसः न्यवेदयन् विश्वसृजे ध्यान्तव्यतिकरं दिशाम्.
By the force of the pregnancy of Diti, the light of the sun and moon was impaired in all the planets, and the demigods of various planets, being disturbed by that force, asked the creator of the universe, Brahma, "What is this expansion of darkness in all directions?"
देवा ऊचुः तम एतद्विभोत्वेत्थ संविघ्नायत्ययं भुषम् न व्यक्तं भगवतः कालेन स्पृष्टवर्त्मनः.
The fortunate demigods said, "O great one, just see this darkness, which you know very well and which is causing us anxieties. Because the influence of time cannot touch you, there is nothing unmanifest before you."
देवदेव जगद्धातर्लोकनाथ शिखामणे परेषां परेषां त्वं भूतानामसि भाववेत्.
O God of the demigods, sustainer of the universe, head jewel of all the demigods in other planets, you know the intentions of all living entities in both the spiritual and material worlds.
नमो विज्ञानवीर्याय माययेदम् उपेयुषे गृहीतगुणभेदाय नमस्ते व्यक्तयोनये.
O original source of strength and scientific knowledge, all obeisances unto you. You have accepted the differentiated mode of passion from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. With the help of external energy, you are born of the unmanifested source. All obeisances unto you.
ये त्वानन् ये त्वानन्येन भावेन भावयन्त्यात्मभावनम् आत्मनि प्रोतभुवनं परं सदसदात्मकम्.
O Lord, all these planets exist within yourself, and all the living entities are generated from you. Therefore, you are the cause of this universe, and anyone who meditates upon you without deviation attains devotional service.
तेषां सुपक्वयोगानां चित्तश्वासेन्द्रियात्मनां लब्धयुष्मत्प्रसादानां न कुतश्चित् पराभवः.
There is no defeat in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling the breathing process and who are therefore experienced mature mystics. This is because by such perfection in yoga, they have attained your mercy.
यस्य वाचा प्रजः सर्वा गावस्तन्त्येव यान्त्रितः हरन्ति बलिमायत्तास्तस्मै मुख्याय ते नमः.
Uh, All the living entities within the universe are conducted by the Vedic directions, as a bull is directed by the rope attached to its nose. No one can violate the rules laid down in the Vedic literatures. To the chief person who has contributed the Vedas, we offer our respect.
सत्वं विधस्त्वशं भूमं तमसा लुप्तकर्मणाम् अधभ्रदया यया दृष्ट्या आपन्नानर्हसि क्षुतुम्.
The demigods prayed to Brahma, "Please look upon us mercifully, for we have fallen into a miserable condition. Because of the darkness, all our work has been suspended."
एष देवदितेर्गर्भ ओजः कश्यपम् अर्पितं दिशस्तिमिरयन् सर्वा वर्धते ग्रीवेधसि.
As fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyapa in the womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe.
मैत्रेय उवाच सप्रहस्य महाबाहो भगवान् शब्दगोचरः प्रत्याचष्टात्मभूदेवान् प्रीणन् रुचिरया गिरा.
Sri Maitreya said, "Thus Lord Brahma, who is understood by transcendental vibration, tried to satisfy the demigods, being pleased with their words of prayer."
ब्रह्म उवाच मानसा मे सुता युष्मत् पूर्वजाः सनकादयः चेरुर्विहाय सा लोकान् लोकेषु विगतस्पृहः.
Lord Brahma said, "My four sons, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanatkumara, who were born from my mind, are your predecessors. Sometimes they travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire."
त एकदा भगवतो वैकुण्ठस्यामलात्मनः ययुर्वैकुण्ठनिलयं सर्वलोकनमस्कृतम्.
After thus traveling all over the universes, they also entered into the spiritual sky, for they were freed from all material contamination. In the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, which are the residents of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, and are worshipped by the residents of all the material planets.
वसन्ति यत्र पुरुषाः सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ये निमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिम्.
In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desires for sense gratification.
यत्र चाद्यः पुमानास्ति भगवान् शब्दगोचरः सत्वं विष्टभ्य विरजं स्वानां नो मृडयन् वृषः.
In the Vaikuntha planets is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who can be understood throughout the Vedic literature. He is full of the uncontaminated mode of goodness, with no place for passion or ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotees.
यत्र नैश्रेयसहं नाम वनं कामदुःखैर्द्रुमेः सर्वत्र श्रीभिर्विभाजके कैवल्यम् इव मूर्तिमत्.
In those Vaikuntha planets, there are many forests which are very auspicious. In those forests, the trees are desire trees, and in all seasons, They are filled with flowers and fruits because everything in the Vaikuntha planets is spiritual and personal.
वैमानिकाः सलललाश्चरितानि शश्वद गायन्ति यत्र शमलक्षपणानि भर्तुः अन्तर्जले विकसन् मधुमाधविनां गन्धेन खण्डितधियो अप्यनीदं क्षिपन्तः.
In the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants fly in their airplanes, accompanied by their wives and consorts, and eternally sing of the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of all inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Madhavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Shubhada Mataji and Alka Mataji, for the very nice recitation. And Shiji Mataji, Krishna Govinda Prabhuji is there?
Hare Krishna, yes, he has joined, but I think he is may not be at the desk now. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, the recitations have just ended. Okay, so thank you very much, dear devotees, for the beautiful recitations. While waiting for Krishna Govinda Prabhuji to join us, I'll recite the Mangla Charan prayer. You can all join me behind muted mics. Oh, Prabhuji has joined us. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, I was joined in. I could hear the narration and translation. That was really nice by Sabada Mataji and Alka Mataji. Thank you so much. For some reason, I wasn't able to join in or unmute myself. But anyway, I've unmuted myself. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to today's chat class. This is the 29th of June, 2025. And the verses that we're going to be reading from Canto 3 is titled Status Quo, Chapter 15, Description of the Kingdom of God. The verses that we're going to read today, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. I just wanted to check you can hear me okay and you can see the shared screen.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mataji. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotanam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Dashashu Bhadrashu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Mutam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. So this verse is verse number 10. Isha devadite garba oja kashapamarpitam dishashtimirayan sarva vardate kni vedasi. Translation. As fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyapa in the womb of Diti has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The darkness throughout the universe is explained herewith as being caused by the embryo created in the womb of Diti by the semen of Kashyapa. I'll recite the invocation prayers. Please do join in. Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivishakamitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Once again, I'll read this translation. As fuel overloads a fire, so the embryo created by the semen of Kashyapa, the womb of Titi, has caused complete darkness throughout the universe. Also, first of all, let me offer my obeisances to my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Swami, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Swami Tinamane, Jaskam Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamane, Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Kindly ask and seek for the blessings and also the blessings of all the devotees listening and in the future if they ever listen. Please allow me to speak on the wonderful glories and topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. Whatever I say or speak about, let it be truthful, let it be beneficial, and let it be also pleasing to all the devotees. Hare Krishna. So the reason I wanted to stop after this particular verse, even though the translation or the purport is very small, so I wanted to reflect on a particular verse from the Bhagavad Gita, which I'll share with you in a moment. So at the moment, the particular chapter titled The Description of the Kingdom of God, basically at the moment, the universe itself has come to almost like a standstill. There seems to be havoc throughout the universe. There seems to be covered in darkness. The universe is shaking or going out of orbit. The planets are going out of orbit. The demigods are very concerned. They're very worried. What is the cause of all the smoke emanating from around the universe? What's causing all the darkness to appear? What's covering all the beautiful light, which is used to dissipate the whole of the universe? So they go to Lord Brahma, try to ask for pacification, say prayers to him, be humble, and ask him to help to overcome this difficulty, this burden that they're facing. And slowly, Lord Brahma will actually explain exactly what is the cause of the darkness that's pervading the whole of the universe. So it just so happens that Titi, who's the wife of Kashyapa Muni has 13 wives. One of the wives' name is Titi. She's considered to be the mother of the demonic race, and her sister Aditi, she's considered to be the mother of the Devatas, starting from Lord Indra and all the different demigods who take care of the different parts of the universe. So it just so happens that Diti came to see Kashyapa Muni at a time when he was already performing some tapasya, some penances, some yajna for Lord Vishnu, and he was disturbed by his wife. She kept on persisting to him that, look, I really want to have some progeny. I want to go about procreation. Kashyapa Muni sort of warning her, please, just wait a little while. Let me finish my yajna. Let me finish my prayers to Lord Vishnu. At the moment, it's not very auspicious time. It's almost like twilight. This is the time when the different hobgoblins and ghosts are actually covering the universe. It's not very auspicious time at all. But she was insisting again and again. And because she was a dutiful wife, Kashyapa Muni also had a soft heart for her. So he sort of allowed to, or rather, accumulated to her wishes. And when the actual procreation took place, she was actually very disturbed because the embryo inside her womb, she thought that Lord Shiva, who was traveling at that time around the universe, may come and destroy the embryo within the womb. So she goes back to Kashyapa Muni and asks, please, 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 you're a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, you're a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Please try and pacify him. Please try and offer him kind words to him to ensure that he does not kill or destroy the embryo within my womb. And she also explains that my sister's name is Sati. Sati is actually the wife of Lord Shiva. Surely Lord Shiva will have some partiality, some sort of consideration, compassion for her sister-in-law and brother-in-law. So in this way, while this scenario is taking place, this particular description explains about the embryo is created by the powerful semen of Kashyapa Muni in the womb of Diti. Because of the embryo is covering the darkness itself, which is causing the demigods to come forward to Lord Brahma and ask, what is going on? What is happening? And Lord Brahma is slowly going to explain to them exactly the reason, the cause of this darkness. So the reason why I wanted to stop on this particular verse is because there was a particular verse from the Bhagavad Gita I wanted to share with you. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. Chapter 3 is titled Karma Yoga, and the verse in context is verse 38. Duminavriyate vanye yata darsho malinacha yato pale navrito garbas tata danida mavritam. The translation, as fire is covered by smoke, as the mirror is covered by dust, or as the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this lust. So I just wanted to touch a little bit on the subject because at the moment, the powerful embryo within the womb of Diti is causing darkness. Similarly, there's different degrees of lust. And here, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the different degrees of lust that has been, or rather, there's different degrees of lust within all of us. Now, the question about this lust comes about when Arjuna asks Krishna, what is the cause of people to become sinful? What is the cause of people to make offenses? What is the cause of people to go against Dharma? Arjuna is asking Krishna these questions, and Krishna explains to Arjuna, it is lust alone, O Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion, later transformed into wrath, which is the old errant sinful enemy of this world. So because of lust, when we have this lusty desires, it is born in contact with the material mode of passion, which later transforms into wrath, which is the cause of destruction of this whole material manifestation. So in this case, when Krishna is actually explaining to Arjuna about the different degrees of lust, the lust is covered by the mirror, or rather, just like a mirror is covered by dust. This is considered like one of the early stages. First of all, beg your pardon, the fire is covered by smoke. This is the first stage. Sometimes you see the spark within the fire. The spark is considered to be like the living entity, and it's although it's part of the smoke when it's emitted from the fire itself, the the spark itself is different from the smoke. The smoke is considered to be like ignorance. It's covering the spark itself, which is considered to be like a living entity. So similarly, the living entity is covered by different degrees of ignorance, and particularly we're covered by the six defaults for reactions that is covering the original constitutional position of the soul. That is in the form of anger, lust, greed, envy, pride, and illusion. Of course, there's many other unwanted qualities that's covering the pure state nature of the living entity, which is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those are like quality. Quantity may be insignificant compared to like a little drop of water to a mighty ocean, but still the quality itself is considered to be almost identical to the qualities of Lord Vishnu. So when we actually see the living entity, when it's covered by the anarthas around us, covered by smoke, then this is just an opportunity to free ourselves by performing the holy name of Shri Sankirtan. Then the next stage is the mirror is covered by dust. So this is like cleansing the dust of the mirror of the mind, or dust accumulated in the heart over many lifetimes. And this particular verse is so popular that we all know from the Shiksha Ashtakam prayers. This is verse number 1. Achaito Dapana Marjana. Let me just share that with you. So Jaito Dapana Marjana Bhava Mahadavini Nivarpanam Shaya Kairava Chandrika Vitarna Vidya Jivafinam Ananna Buddhi Vardhanam Patipatam Panamrita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Paramvijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Would anyone like to read the translation for number 1?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Kirtina Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank
Hare
you, Mataji. So that's translation is quite self-explanatory. It actually mentions about the dust which is accumulated over many lifetimes, over many years. It's compared to when you cleanse the heart by glorifying the Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement. It's compared to extinguishing the fire of conditional life. This material world is considered to be like a blazing fire. And in order to extinguish this blazing fire, the way to around it is by following the footsteps of Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement. Just like we see the prayers, Sapsaradava, Nalalita Loka, Tranayakar, Ganaganatvam. Every morning we sing the Guru Vashtakam prayers. The spiritual master extinguishes this fire of blazing material existence. So by the mercy of the spiritual master, by chanting the holy name, we can free ourselves. All the dust that's accumulated within our heart, within the mind itself. Just like when you see a mirror covered full of dust, it covers everything around you. And when you clean it, it keeps it nice and clean, just like when we chant the holy name, it vanquishes all that suffering, all that material anarthas that's built up over many lifetimes. Now, the third portion was the embryo covered by the womb. So this is the one which I was going to sort of relate to the original verse that we were reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when the embryo is covered by the womb, this is considered to be the most difficult situation because the embryo within the womb doesn't fully have its full consciousness. It's not able to understand fully the purpose of its status or being within the womb itself. When we read the Bhagavatam, in one of the chapters, it explains about the nature of the embryo within the womb, all the suffering that's taking place, all the different kind of living entities within the womb, as well as the woman is biting the embryo, causing it much suffering, much pain itself. It doesn't have the full consciousness as we would do when we're actually at a mature state in our human life. And that embryo is compared to like a tree. A tree is completely, or rather is completely fixed. It doesn't have any ability to move around. Only by the movement of the wind can the branches move around. But otherwise it's fixed, it's permanently fixed to the earth itself. It has to endure all the difficulties that is forced upon it, the different elements of the weather, earth, the changes of the climate, the changes of humanity chopping the trees down itself. The tree itself is considered to be at a very low level of consciousness compared to the human being. So we have to free ourselves from this feeling of coverings in the different forms, either in the form of the fire and the smoke, the mirror, which is covered by the dust, or the embryo covered by the womb. So in this case, the embryo, which is covered by the womb, is causing complete darkness throughout the universe. And to free ourselves, the devas are going to Lord Brahma, please free us from this darkness. And of course, Lord Brahma slowly is going to narrate the story of how this darkness has appeared by the personalities, or actually the embryos within the womb of Titi. I hope that's quite clear to all of you. So this powerful seaman of Kashyapa Muni is a great devotee of Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. So as I mentioned earlier on, Diti constantly tried to pacify Kashyapa, please. I want to have progeny, I want to have procreation. Kashyapa Muni is very, very humble, thoughtful, because he finds his wife to be very dutiful and he wants to please her as well. But then afterwards, realizing the mistakes that they made, then he actually says that your son will be the cause of destruction and harm and suffering within the universe for 100 years. So at that time, Diti is very much afraid by the words of Kashyapa. She begs him, please, 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 don't let this to happen. Don't let Lord Shiva destroy the embryo within the womb itself. And it so happened that, as I mentioned, Kashyapa Muni was also performing yagya for Lord Vishnu. So he was already in transcendental consideration, and to disturb somebody who was already transcendently performing devotional service, then obviously Lord Vishnu wouldn't be too kind about somebody going against certain dharmic rules and regulations for material pleasure. Okay, now go to text 11. Patraya vacha saprahasya mahabaho bhagavan shabda gochara pachashatma bodhivan prinam gira. Translation. Shivatraya said, thus Lord Brahma, who is understood by transcendental vibration, tried to satisfy the demigods, being pleased with their words of prayer. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Brahma could understand the mysteries of deity, and therefore he smiled the whole situation. He replied to the demigods present there in words they could understand. So one of the reasons why Lord Brahma was smiling at the situation that's been caused by the mysteries of deity, if you were there for the verses from the previous few verses from the chapter, it explains about the role of a woman, who's dutiful to her husband. So in the form of Diti, she was a very dutiful, loyal wife to Kashyapa Muni. She obeyed him in every way possible, always served him in every way possible. And that was the dharma of the wife, to always take care of the husband. The husband will then take care of the material pleasures and the spiritual pleasures of the wife as well. When you actually take care of your husband, then certainly there will be good prosperity in relationship between the husband and the wife itself. But if the wife is disobedient, then of course there's disharmony within the relationship itself. So he understood also that the woman is also of a very soft nature. They have perhaps not the same sort of endurement as, say, the male counterpart. So you could understand the lady being very, very shy and bashful and very innocent in a certain way, wanted certain activities in order to carry out and please her own pleasure. So this way, Brahma could understand the feelings and the appreciation of the woman. After all, he was the creator of all the living entities of the universe, so he could understand the minds of each and every living entity. So verse number 12. Brahma vacha manasame sutta yusmat parvachaha sanakadaya cheru vihasya lokal lokeshe vigata spriha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma said, my four sons Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, and Sanat Kumara, who are born from my mind, are your predecessors. Sometimes I travel throughout the material and spiritual skies without any definite desire. Purport. When we speak of desire, we refer to desire for material sense gratification. Saintly persons like Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara have no material desire, but sometimes they travel all over the universe and of their own accord to preach devotional service. So you may have seen that picture of Lord Vishnu with the four Kumaras while praying to him. The four Kumaras are only about the age of 4 and 5 years old, and they were the first descendants or the firstborn children of Lord Brahma and came from his mind as he was meditating. But it so happened that he wanted the four Kumaras to create progeny, create a lineage of, family. But the four Kumaras were celibate. They did not want to partake in any material activities or material sort of grihastha ashram at all. They were happy as they were serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Brahma became very frustrated, and out of his mind also came Lord Shiva in the form of Rudra. So the names of Sanaka, Sanatan, Sanandana, Sanakumara have particular meanings as well. Sanaka means ancient. Sanatana, which comes from the word also Sanatana, comes or it's translated it to eternal. Sanandana means ever joyful, and Sanat Kumara means ever youthful. So they do not have any material desires at all, and they could wander around from the material realms to the spiritual realms. And it so happened they wanted to see Lord Vishnu, and they were stopped by the gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay, which will be explained further along in the chapters of this particular Bhagavatam. So I won't go too much into detail of that. And also, they also have another son. Lord Brahma has another son, the name of Narada Muni. And Narada Muni is also considered to be transcendental, a saintly person who travels around all the planetary systems, spiritual and material worlds, and preaching Krishna consciousness to all the fallen conditioned souls as to the four Kumaras. Text 13. Daikada Bhagavato Vaikunta Syadma Latmanaha Yaju Vaikunta Nilayam Savaloka Namaskritam. Translation: After thus traveling all over the universes, they also entered into the spiritual sky, for they were freed from all material contamination. In this spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikuntas, which are the residents of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and its pure devotees and are worshipped by the residents of all the material planets. Prabhupada, by Srila Prabhupada, the material world is full of cares and anxieties. In any one of the planets, beginning from the highest down to the lowest, Patala, every living creature must be full of cares and anxieties because in the material planets, one cannot live eternally. The living entities, however, are actually eternal. They want an eternal home, an eternal residence, but because of accepting a temporal abode in the material world, they are naturally full of anxiety. In the spiritual sky, the planets are called Vaikunta, because the residents of these planets are free from all anxieties. For them, there is no question of birth and death, old age and diseases. Therefore, they are not anxious. On the other hand, the residents of the material planets are always afraid of birth, death, disease, and old age. Therefore, they are full of anxieties. Okay, that's quite self-explanatory. Who feels that they do not have any anxieties at all? Anybody? We all have anxieties, don't we? Even though we know Krishna is taking care of us, even though we're trying to do our best to surrender to the Supreme Lord, we know that we have anxieties, we know that we have fear, we know we have some sort of unnecessary stress. Sometimes we cannot pinpoint exactly what that stress is, but there's always that anxiety. Even like Kunti Devi, she prays to the Lord Krishna, let these calamities happen to me again and again. Only by then am I able to remember you again and again. But do we really want calamities? Do we want stress? Do we want any anxiety? Do we want any fear? Do we want any poor health? Do we want any financial issues in our life, family issues, social issues, domestic, political? Every single thing that you can think of in our lives, There's always something that's going on that doesn't please us in any shape or form. You could be so happy in married life, but then you have children that you have to raise, and there's always that worry, will they become Krishna conscious? Will they have a good life? Will they also become independent? Will they be able to find a nice wife, family, children? Our anxieties are completely endless. And in the Bhagavad Gita, it even mentions from chapter 8, verse 16, Abrama bhuvana lokaha bhuna avartino arjuna mama pecha tu kanteya purna jamana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest are all places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So once again, Krishna gives us some assurance. Even though we may be the highest planets in this material world, they're still full of anxieties, full of miseries, full of suffering. But if we actually remember Krishna, then certainly we never take birth again. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita tells Arjuna, whatever state of being one remembers at the time of death, that state he will attain without fail. So from the Bhagavatam, we hear beautiful stories which actually allow us to focus and understand that personalities, great kings, were passed away, but at the time of their death, they were thinking of their beloved queens, their wives, they were very much attached to. They were in love with their kingdom, they're in love with their family. And what happens in the next life? They ended up having a life of a woman, say the king who was thinking of his wife in his previous life at the time of his death. In his next life, it took birth as a woman. I'm not saying all you women were thinking of your loved ones in your previous life, but what it is saying that whatever happens at the time, whatever state of being that you remember at the time of your life, at the time of your time that you're going to depart, that state you will attain without fail. If you remember a tiger, if you remember your wealth, if you remember your family, if you remember you want to be a pop star, some personality, great personality, or if you have some desire for some man or woman, certainly in your next life, Krishna will fulfill those desires. But he also gives us that assurance. For one who quits his body at the time of his death, remembers me alone, he will attain my nature. Of this there is no doubt. But if you remember Krishna at the time of your death, at the time that you quit your body, you will attain the nature of Krishna. Of this there is no doubt. And the next verse I'll show you how that is possible. Text 14. Asanti yatra purushaha save vakunta murtayaha ye nimita nimitena dharmen naradayan harim. Translation, translation. In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desires for sense gratification. Purport. Patavyas, could I switch off your video? Thank you. The residents are the form of living entity, of living, in Vaikuntha are described in this verse. The residents are all like the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. The Vaikuntha planets, Krishna's planetary feature as 400 Narayan is the predominating deity. And the residents of Vaikuntha Loka are also 400. Just contrary to our conception here in the material world, nowhere in the material world do we find a human being with 4 hands. Vaikuntha Loka, there's no occupation but the service of the Lord. This service is not rendered with a purpose, although every service has a particular result. The devotees never aspire for the fulfillment of their own desires. The desires are fulfilled by rendering transcendental service to the Lord. So here you can see in the planet of Vaikuntha, which is no anxieties, no suffering, no birth, death, old age, disease, as it is in the material world, every personality has a 4-handed form, just like Narayan. And Lord Narayan is the presiding deity of the Vaikuntha planets. And the personalities there are worshipping Lord Narayan in awe and reverence. So when I mentioned earlier on, for one who at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, attains my nature of this, there is no doubt. So if you remember Krishna at the time of your death, suddenly you will have this four-handed form of Narayan in the Vaikuntha planets. So this is the whole purpose of Krishna consciousness, to free ourselves from material desires, free ourselves from certain difficulties that are preventing us from becoming a devotee. As Krishna says, once again in the Bhagavad Gita, the devotees of the Lord are, beg your pardon. Only by devotional service can one understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So only by devotional service, and we've mentioned several times about the different processes of devotional service, and then particularly Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord. By this Hare Krishna, Sri Krishna Sankirtan movement, it is important that we learn to control our mind, free ourselves from this difficulties that we have, which will always be there. But if we just depend on the Supreme Lord, we know that Krishna is helping us, assisting us in so many ways. There may be difficulties, there may be issues in our life that we never ever face or understand. Why is Krishna causing this to happen to me? I've been a good devotee, I've been helping others, I've been doing food for life service, been serving the deities at the temple, at home, feeding my family, feeding my children. But certain difficulties do arise. And these are actually a small token of burning our karma, our misdeeds from our previous life. As I've mentioned sometimes, and even if we see the beautiful smile of the Lord, it dissipates or evaporates the reservoirs of tears that's accumulated of many lifetimes. So if you can imagine a lake full of tears, we have tears because we're in anxiety. We have tears because we've caused other people suffering. Somebody's causing us suffering in so many ways. By just remembering serving the Lord, serving the devotees, serving Krishna, serving his devotees, in whatever small capacity you can have, just like the tiny sparrow is taking a drop of water from the ocean just to get to its eggs, which has been swallowed by the ocean. When Krishna sees the endeavor of the endeavor of a particular being doing something to protect somebody for a better purpose, then certainly the Supreme Lord comes. And in this case, the little bird's sister, Garuda, came, or rather, the little bird's big brother came in the form of Garuda to come and protect the little bird and threaten the ocean. If you do not return the eggs back to the little sister sparrow, then I will diminish this whole ocean. So it just shows you that little tiny endeavor, whatever you do, serving Krishna, Krishna will certainly reward you in so many ways. Just to quickly finish off, I'll just show you the universe. When we were mentioning about the Vaikuntha planets, and I mentioned about the different planetary systems. We have 14 planetary systems covered in three sort of portions. We have the lower planetary systems, which started with Patala Loka, which are the Pitra Loka and hellish planets. These are the places where we go at the time of our death. We answer to Yamaraj and the Yamadutas, any misdeeds that we've done in our lifetime, offenses that we may have created. Then it's followed by Asatala, Mahatala, Talatala, Sutala, Pitala, Atala. Then you have the middle planetary system, which are considered to be subtle and gross, which are the Bruholoka planets, which are the earthly planetary system, which we belong to. Then above that, we have the 7 higher planetary systems. These start off at Bruvaloka. These are the planets where the Rakshasas and ghosts reside. We have Svargaloka, which is considered to be the abode of the heavenly planets, where Indraloka resides, which is also the realm of 330 million demigods. And also the demons reside there. The demons, although we refer to the words demons, they're also saintly personalities, but they have enmity between the demigods from time immemorial. And as I mentioned earlier on, the mother of the demigods is Aditi, the mother of the demons is Diti. They're both sisters. And it just so happens at the time of creation, at the wrong time, at the wrong auspicious time. Then the great demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, were born, and there followed the hierarchy or lineage of descendants of demons. Above that is Svargaloka, and above that is Mahaloka, then Janaloka, where the 7 Saptarishi sages stay, Tapaloka, then you've got Satyaloka, Lord Brahma's abode. So this is considered higher planetary systems, but there are also places of misery. Even Lord Brahma, at the time of his 100 years of his lifetime, he has to come back into the material world. But at the same time, he could go to the higher planetary system, which more than likely he will, because of all his good and pious deeds to serve Lord Vishnu. Then, of course, you have Maheshdam, which is the abode of Lord Shiva. Then you also have Mahadevi Dham, which is the abode of Durga Devi. And above that, you have the Vaikuntha planets, which is considered to be the highest planetary system. See if I've got a picture of that. At the moment, I don't. But anyway, so above these planetary system, you have the actual Vaikuntha planets, and then above that, you have Goloka, Vrindavan Dham, which is ultimately our abode. So once again, it's important that we actually free ourselves from this material world of miseries, suffering, and anxieties. And at the moment, even the demigods, although they're living in the Swarga Loka, which is considered to be so auspicious, so pure, so anything that you desire is available there, but they're still suffering there at this present moment. But that suffering is obviously not the same level of suffering that we may endure in this material world. But of course, whatever suffering is relative to that particular planet. I wish I could understand a bit more about it, but it is not an easy subject to understand. In the meantime, is there any questions or comments or any corrections at all? Just one other thing I wanted to mention, when you actually get the form of Lord Narayan, sorry, not the form of Lord Narayan, when you have the 4 armed form similar to Lord Narayan, and purport or in a particular lecture I heard from Srila Prabhupada, it mentions that the living entity in its original constitutional position has 86% of the quality of Lord Krishna himself. Of course, there's no limit to Krishna's unlimited qualities, but if there was some way of actually in comparison, the living entity at its highest level would have 86% of the quality of the Supreme Lord. So can you imagine how powerful a personality would be in this original conditional position? At the moment, we're just like tiny little insects compared to a mighty, mighty universe, just so insignificant that we could not even fathom what sort of qualities or in terms of our sort of covering when we free ourselves, how we could compare ourselves in qualitative and quantity to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Please say some humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now I'll
Prabhuji,
pass it over to Shri Ji Mataji or Namrata Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My Dhanar Pranamo. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful session. So, Prabhuji, for today's bhajan, we have Rajshri Mataji who will be singing a beautiful bhajan, Jaganashtakam. Before she sings the bhajan, we'll have Shama Mataji who will read the English translation. Is it okay if Shriji Kishori Mataji could share the screen, Prabhuji? Thank you, Prabhuji. Haribol. Thank you, Mataji. Shama Mataji, when you're ready in the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Sometimes in great happiness, Lord Jagannath makes a loud concert with his flute in the groves on the banks of the Yamuna. He is like a bumblebee tasting the beautiful lotus-like faces of the cowherd damsels of Braja, and great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesha worship his lotus feet. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. In his left hand, Lord Jagannath holds a flute. On his head, he wears peacock feathers, and on his hips, he wears fine yellow silken cloth. From the corners of his eyes, he bestows sidelong glances upon his loving devotees, and he always reveals himself through his pastimes in his divine abode of Vrindavan. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. On the shore of the great ocean, within a large palace atop the brilliant golden Nilachal hill, Lord Jagannath resides with his powerful brother Balbhadra and his sister Subhadra, who sits between them. May that Jagannath Swami, who bestows this opportunity for devotional service upon all godly souls, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannath is an ocean of mercy and as beautiful as a row of blackish rain clouds. He is the storehouse of bliss for Lakshmi and Saraswati, and his face resembles a spotless, full blown lotus. The best of demigods and sages worship him, and the Upanishads sing his glories. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. When Lord Jagannath moves along the road on his Ratha Yatra car, at every step, large assemblies of Brahmanas loudly chant prayers and sing songs for his pleasure. Hearing their hymns, Lord Jagannath becomes very favorably disposed towards them. He is the ocean of mercy and the true friend of all the worlds. May that Jagannath Swami, along with his consort Lakshmi, who was born from the ocean of nectar, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannath, whose eyes resemble full blown lotus petals, is the ornament on Lord Brahma's head. He resides on Nilachal hill with his lotus feet placed on the heads of Anantadeva. Overwhelmed by the mellows of love, he joyfully embraces Srimati Radharani's body, which is like a cool pond. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. I do not pray for a kingdom, nor do I pray for gold, rubies, or wealth. I do not ask for a beautiful wife as desired by all men. I simply pray that Jagannath Swami, whose glories Lord Shiva always sings, may be the constant object of my vision. O Lord of the demigods, please quickly remove this useless material existence I am undergoing. O Lord of the Yadus, please destroy this vast, shoreless ocean of sins. Alas, this is certain, Lord Jagannath bestows his lotus feet upon those who feel themselves fallen and have no shelter in this world but him. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. The self restrained, virtuous soul who recites these 8 verses glorifying Lord Jagannath becomes cleansed of all sins and duly proceeds to Lord Vishnu's abode. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Rajshri Mataji, when you're ready. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jagannatashtakam punyam yapatet prayata suchihi sarvapapa vishuddhatma Vishnulokam sagachati Jagannatha Swami Nayanapatagami Bhavatu me Jagannatha Swami Nayanapatagami
भवतु मे कदाचित् कालिन्दी तथा विपिनसङ्गीतकरावो कदाचित् कालिन्दी तथा विपिनसङ्गीतकरावो मुदाभिरिनार्यवदन् कमलस्वदमधुपा मुदाभिरिनार्यवदन् कमलस्वदमधुपा रमा शम्भु ब्रह्मामर पतिगणेशाचितपादो रमा शम्भु ब्रह्मामर पतिगणेशाचितपादो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपतगामी भवतु मे भुजे सव्यवेणुं शिरा शिशिकीपिचं कतिताटे भुजे सव्यवेणुं शिरा शिशिकीपिचं कटिताटे दुकूलं नेत्रान्ते सह चरकटाक्षं विदधाटे दुकूलं नेत्रान्ते सह चरकटाक्षं विदधाते सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावन वसति लीला परिचयो सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावन वसति लीला परिचयो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपतगामी भवतु मे महाबोधिस्थिरकन करुचिरे नीलशिकारे महाबोधिस्थिरकन करुचिरे नीलशिकारे वसन् प्रसादान्त सह बलभद्रेण बलिना वसन् प्रसादान्त सह बलभद्रेण बलिना सुभद्रा मध्यस्था सकलसुरसेवा वसरादो सुभद्रा मध्यस्था सकलसुरसेवा वसरादो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपतगामी भवतु मे कृपा पारवार सज जलदश्रेणीरुचिरो कृपा परवार सज जलदश्रेणीरुचिरो रमावाणि रामस्फुरत् अमलपङ्केरुहमुखा रमावाणि रामस्फुरत् अमलपङ्केरुहमुखा सुरेन्द्रैराराध्य श्रुति कनशिकगीतचरितो सुरेन्द्रैराराध्य श्रुति गणशिकगीतचरितो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपतगामी भवतु मे रतारुधो गच्छन् पति मिलितभूदेव पताले रतारुधो गच्छन् पति मिलितभूदेव पताले स्तुति प्रादुर्भावं प्रति पदमुपकर्ण्य सदय स्तुति प्रादुर्भावं प्रति पदमुपकर्ण्य सदया दया सिन्धुर्बन्धु सकल जगतां सिन्धुसुतया दया सिन्धुर्बन्धु सकल लजगतं सिन्धुसुताय जगन्नाथस्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे परब्रह्मपिदकुव लयदलोत्फुल्लनयनो परब्रह्मपिदकुव लयदलोत्फुल्लनयनो निवासी नीलाद्रो निहित चरणनोनन्त शिरसि निवासी नीलाद्रो निहित चरणोनन्त शिरसि रसानन्दुरदासर सवपुरलिङ्गनशुको रसानन्दरादासर सवपुरलिङ्गनशुको जगन्नाथस्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे न वैयाचिराज्यं न च कनकमणिक्यविभावम् न वैयाचिराज्यं न च कनकमणिक्यविभावम् न याचेऽहं रम्यां सकलजनकाम्यं वरवधूं न याचेऽहं रम्यां सकलजनकाम्यं वरवधूं सदा काले काले तपति न गीतचरितो सदा काले काले तपति न गीतचरितो जगन्नाथस्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे हर त्वं संसारं धृत परमसारं सुरपाते हर त्वं संसारं धृत परमसारं सुरपाते हर त्वं पापानां विततिम् अपरां यादवपाते हर त्वं पापानां विततिम् अपरां यादवपाते अहो दीननाथे निहित चरणो निश्चितम् इदम् अहो दीननाथे निहित चरणो निश्चितम् इदम् जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे कदाचित् कालिन्दी तत विपिनसङ्गीतकरावो कदाचित् कालिन्दी तत विपिनसङ्गीतकरावो मुदाभिरिनारी वदन् कमलस्वदमधुपा मुदाभिरिनारी वदन् कमलस्वदमधुपा रमा शम्भु ब्रह्मामर पति गणेशाच्युतपादो रमा शम्भु ब्रह्मामर पति गणेशाच्युतपादो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे
Hari Bol Mataji, beautifully sang. Very nice, Mataji. Hari Bol to you and Shama Mataji both.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna, Rajeshri Mataji, that's really nice, so beautiful. Let's show a head of appreciation to Rajeshri Mataji. Do you want to show yourself on camera if you're not feeling shy, Rajeshri Mataji? There you are.
Hare
There,
Krishna.
everyone, thank you very much. So beautifully sung as well. And as you know, next week is actually Snana Yatra, so please do all of you come early in the morning so you get a chance to bathe. Lord Jagannath, bring some flowers, some fruits as an offering to the lordships. Be so nice, and also participate in the festivity. Hopefully, if you look on the Manor website, you can actually see the time when you're supposed to be there. I believe it's better to come early, 8 o'clock in the morning if you can, even better still, come for 7 o'clock morning darshan. So thank you everyone for joining in, and please take some humble ways. It says, Vanchakapatarubyascha kripasidnabhyevacha
Vivacha
patitanam
patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha. And a
namaha.
show of appreciation to the speakers and to Rajeshri Mataji for the beautiful